Good afternoon, students. Today I am going to discuss about 12th standard chapter electromagnetic induction and alternating current. Electromagnetic induction and alternating current. Right. First, electromagnetic induction. Electromagnetic induction is a phenomenon. It was first discovered by Michael Faraday. The phenomenon electromagnetic induction was discovered by Michael Faraday. According to Michael Faraday, when the magnetic flux linked with the closed circuit or closed coil or closed conductor changes, and EMF is induced in it. When a magnetic flux linked with the closed circuit, magnetic flux linked with the closed circuit changes and EMF is induced in it. So that phenomenon is known as electromagnetic induction. It was discovered by Michael Faraday. Right. What is magnetic flux? Okay, for example, let us consider a closed coil, which is placed inside the uniform magnetic field of induction B. The magnetic field is denoted by B. Right. So this is a closed coil which is introduced inside the uniform magnetic field. So magnetic flux means the total number of magnetic lines of force passing through a closed area is known as a magnetic flux. The total number of magnetic lines of force passing through a closed area or given area is known as a magnetic flux. Right. The magnetic flux is denoted by the letter pi. The magnetic flux is denoted by pi. It is given by the formula pi is equal to NBA cos theta. The magnetic flux linked with this closed area is given by pi is equal to NBA cos theta. N, suppose this closed coil contains n number of turns. So let n be the number of turns in the coil. B, the magnetic field in which the closed coil is situated or the closed coil placed. And A, area of the coil. Right. And theta, angle between the direction of magnetic field and outward normal drawn to the area like this. Right. So this is outward normal line which makes an angle of theta with the direction of magnetic field. Right. N number of turns in the coil, B magnetic field, A area of the coil, and theta angle between the direction of magnetic field and outward normal drawn to the area. Right. Suppose a coil having 100 turns and area of the coil is for example 10 meters square, which is placed in the uniform magnetic field of 5 Tesla, so that the outward normal makes an angle of 60 degree with respect to the magnetic field. 60 degree with respect to the magnetic field. Then the flux linked with the coil can be calculated by using this formula. Right? Just substitute all the known values. Number of turns 100 and magnetic field value is 5 Tesla and the area of the coil is 10 and angle between the normal and the direction of magnetic field is 60 degree. So cos 60 degree. Right. So 10 power 3 into 5 cos 60 1 divided by 2. Right, to 2.5. So 2.5 into 10 power plus 3. The unit of magnetic flux is Weber. Right. So the magnetic flux linked with the coil having n number of turns of area A placed in the uniform magnetic field of B, so that the normal makes an angle of theta with the direction of a magnetic field. The flux through the coil can be calculated by using the formula pi is equal to NBA cos theta. Right, the flux formula. So magnetic flux is a scalar quantity, but it can be written in vector form. So pi is equal to integration of d vector dot dA vector. This is vector form of magnetic flux. The magnitude form of a magnetic flux is pi is equal to NBA cos theta. Right, magnetic flux. And next, already I told electromagnetic induction was discovered by Michael Faraday. Right. In order to demonstrate the electromagnetic induction phenomenon, Michael Faraday conducted several experiments. Right. The results obtained from all the experiments are summarized as Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction. Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction. There are two laws. Faraday's first law of electromagnetic induction and Faraday's second law of electromagnetic induction. Right. First law. According to Faraday's first law of electromagnetic induction, when the magnetic flux or whenever the magnetic flux linked with the coil or closed circuit changes and EMF is induced in it. It lasts as long as the change in magnetic flux is continuous. That is, the EMF is induced in the closed coil only if there is a change in magnetic flux. Okay, so then only EMF is induced in this coil. Otherwise, the EMF induced in the coil is zero. So this is first law, Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. Right. And the second law. The magnitude of induced EMF. The magnitude of induced EMF in the coil is directly proportional to the rate of change of magnetic flux linked with the coil. Rate of change of magnetic flux linked with the coil. That is, the magnitude of induced EMF is denoted by E. It is given by d pi divided by dt. According to Faraday's second law of electromagnetic induction, the magnitude of EMF induced in the closed coil is equal to or directly proportional to rate of change of magnetic flux linked with the coil. Rate of change of magnetic flux linked with the coil. Right. Or pi 2 minus pi 1 divided by t. Pi 2 final flux and pi 1 initial flux and t time. Right. Suppose the closed coil contains n number of turns, then induced EMF is given by E is equal to N into d pi divided by dt. Here N into d pi is called flux linkage. N into d pi is called flux linkage. N into d pi divided by dt or N of pi 2 minus pi 1 divided by t. Suppose let us consider a coil or closed coil which contain 100 turns. And the magnetic flux linked with the coil is changes from 5 Weber to 25 Weber. 5 Weber to 25 Weber and a time 2 seconds. Right. What is the magnitude of EMF induced in the coil? Can be calculated by using the formula E is equal to N of pi 2 minus pi 1 divided by t. Right. E is equal to N of pi 2 minus pi 1 divided by t, n value 100 and pi 2 value 25 and pi 1 value 5, t value 2. Right. So 100 into 20 divided by 2. 10, 100 into 10, 1000 volt. The unit of induced EMF is volt. So this is one of the simple problem in terms of induced EMF. Right. Whenever the magnetic flux linked with the coil changes and EMF is induced in it, it lasts so long as there is a change in magnetic flux continuous. Faraday's second law, the magnitude of EMF induced in the closed circuit is equal to the rate of change of magnetic flux linked with the coil. The coil contains n number of turns, the magnitude of induced EMF is given by E is equal to n into d pi divided by dt. Here n into d pi is called flux linkage or n of pi 2 minus pi 1 divided by t. So this is Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction. Right. So when the magnetic flux linked with the coil changes, an EMF is induced in it. Whenever an EMF is induced in this closed circuit, induced current flows through it. Induced current is flows through it. The induced current flows through the coil is given by I is equal to E divided by R. E, EMF induced in the coil due to the change in magnetic flux, and R, resistance of the coil. Resistance of the coil. Right. If you know the EMF induced in the coil and the resistance of the coil, we can calculate what is the magnitude of induced current. So induced current I is equal to E divided by R. Right. R d pi divided by dt into R. Suppose the coil containing n number of turns, n into d pi divided by dt into R. So this is induced current. Right. The direction of induced current can be determined by using lenses. So Lenz's law is used to find the direction of induced current. Right. So what is Lenz's law? According to Lenz's law, the induced current produced in a circuit always flows in such a direction that it opposes the change or cause that produces it. That is, the direction of induced current is always oppose the cause. The direction of induced current is always oppose the cause. That is, Lenz's law. Lenz's law is used to find the direction of induced current. Used to find the direction of induced current. Right. The direction of induced current can also be determined by using Fleming's right hand rule. So both the Lenz's law and the Fleming's right hand rule is used to find the direction of induced current. Right. What is Fleming's right hand rule? According to Fleming's right hand rule, stretch the first three fingers of our right hand. They are mutually perpendicular to each other. Forefinger, this is forefinger. Forefinger represents the direction of magnetic field. Right. Second, the thumb finger represents the direction of motion of the conductor. And third finger, middle finger. The middle finger represents the direction of induced current. So Fleming's right hand rule is used to find the direction of induced current. So forefinger represents direction of magnetic field. Thumb finger represents direction of motion of the conductor, and the middle finger represents the direction of induced current. Right. The magnitude of induced EMF in terms of Lenz's law is given by E is equal to minus d pi by d. According to Michael Faraday, magnitude of induced EMF is equal to d pi divided by dt. According to Lenz, the magnitude and direction of induced EMF is given by E is equal to minus d pi divided by dt. The negative side indicates Lenz's law. Or the negative side indicates the induced current is always oppose the cause. Suppose if the cause is flux, means the induced current oppose the increasing magnetic flux or decreasing magnetic flux. Right. So this is expression for magnitude of induced EMF in terms of Lenz's law. Right. And next, suppose let us consider a straight conductor of length L. A straight conductor of length L. Suppose it is moving with a velocity of v. In the uniform magnetic field, which is acting perpendicular to the plane of the board and inwards. So there is a straight conductor whose length is L, which is moving with a velocity of v outward direction in the uniform magnetic field of induction B. Right. When this conductor moves in the uniform magnetic field, all the free electrons in the conductor experience magnetic Lorentz force. So due to the magnetic Lorentz force, the electrons moves from one end of the conductor to another end of the conductor. Right? So there is a difference of potential created across the two ends of the conductor, between the two ends of the conductor. So that difference of potential between the two ends of the conductor is nothing but motional EMF. The motional EMF is given by the formula E is equal to BN. Right, this is motional EMF formula in terms of magnetic Lorentz force. Okay, from the magnetic Lorentz force, we can derive an expression for motional EMF. The motional EMF attained is E is equal to BLV. Right, when straight conductor of length L moving with a velocity of v in the uniform magnetic field, okay, and EMF is induced across the ends of the conductor. That EMF is called motional EMF. It can be calculated by using the formula E is equal to BLV. Right. Suppose there is a rectangular coil or a rectangular loop. Suppose its width is 10 L. The width of the rectangular loop is L. And it is moving with a velocity of v in the same uniform magnetic field of induction. Right. So either the conductor is a straight conductor or a rectangular loop. When it is moves in the uniform magnetic field, there is a difference of potential created across the two ends, and that EMF is called, or that potential difference is called motional EMF. The motional EMF is generally given by E is equal to BL. Right? If there is a EMF induced across the ends of the conductor, and induced current flows through the circuit. Right? That induced current is always oppose the cause. Induced current is always oppose the curve. So the induced current oppose the motion of the rectangular loop. Oppose the motion of the rectangular loop. So external force is required to move the rectangular loop for the outward direction. For the outward direction, right? And this force, I mean external applied force, in order to move the rectangular loop outward direction, can be calculated by using the formula F is equal to BI. F is equal to BI, because when the rectangular loop is moves inside the magnetic field, EMF is induced across these two ends. So an induced current flows through the circuit. Induced current is flows through the circuit, right? So this is current carrying conductor. When the current carrying conductor is placed inside the uniform magnetic field, it experiences a mechanical force. It experiences a mechanical force. By using Fleming's left hand rule, the direction of a mechanical force is acting in this direction or inward direction, right? So to overcome this force, external force should be applied, okay, in outward direction. Then only the rectangular loop can be moved outward direction. So the external force applied must be equal to the mechanical force experienced by the rectangular loop. So the external force is equal to mechanical force. The mechanical force experienced by the current carrying conductor is given by the formula F is equal to BI. F is equal to BI. Right. Right here I is induced current. Right. Already we know that induced current is given by induced EMF divided by resistance of the coil or resistance of the circuit. Right. Into A. Right. F is equal to B into induced EMF. B of induced EMF means there is motional EMF. Motional EMF. The motional EMF is BLV divided by R into L. So therefore F is equal to B into B square, L into L square, V divided by R. When a rectangular coil or loop or a circuit is moves inside the uniform magnetic field and induced current is produced in it. That induced current opposes the motion of the rectangular loop. So the external force should be applied on the rectangular loop to make it move outward direction. That external force needed can be calculated by using the formula F is equal to B square, L square, V divided by R. B magnetic field and L the width of the rectangular loop, and V the velocity with which the rectangular loop moves in the uniform magnetic field, and R the resistance of the loop. Right. This is force formula. Right. Motional EMF is equal to BLV, and the induced EMF in terms of change in magnetic flux is equal to d pi divided by dt, or pi 2 minus pi 1 divided by t. If coil contains n number of turns, then E is equal to n into d pi divided by dt, or n of pi 2 minus pi 1 divided by t. And magnetic flux linked with the coil or closed circuit is given by the formula pi is equal to NBA cos theta. Right. Next topic, self-induction. Self-induction is the property of a single coil. So self-induction is a property of a coil which enables to producing and opposing induced EMF in the coil when the current flowing through the coil is changes. Whenever the current flowing through the coil is changes, an EMF is induced in that coil. That property of the coil is known as self-induction. Right. Suppose let us consider a coil in the form of a solenoid, and suppose it carries an electric current of I. When electric current is passed through the coil, a magnetic field is produced inside it. The magnetic field produced inside the coil is given by B is equal to mu naught Ni. Mu naught permeability of a free space. If the medium inside the coil is air, then the permeability is represented by mu naught. If the medium other than air, then the permeability is represented by simply mu. Right? And what is mu r? Mu r is relative permeability of the medium. Relative permeability means the ratio of permeability of the medium to the permeability of a free space is known as relative permeability. Right. So this is a coil in the form of solenoid. It carries an electric current I. When electric current flows through the coil, magnetic field is produced inside it. The magnetic field at any point inside the solenoid is given by B is equal to mu naught Ni. Mu naught permeability of free space, N number of turns per unit length of the solenoid. Number of turns per unit length of the solenoid. Suppose the solenoid contains total number of turns, suppose N, and the total length of the solenoid is suppose L. Right. And dividing the total number of turns with the total length, we can get the number of turns per unit. The number of turns per unit length. So the magnetic field inside the solenoid in terms of number of turns per unit length is given by B is equal to mu naught N. In terms of total number of turns, B is equal to mu naught Ni divided by L. Magnetic field. Right? Okay. So when the magnetic field is produced inside it, there is a magnetic flux linked with each turns of the solenoid. Each turns of the solenoid. The magnetic flux linked with each turns of the solenoid is supposed pi, or the total magnetic flux linked with the entire solenoid is pi. And this total magnetic flux linked with the solenoid is always directly proportional to current. If the magnitude of the current flowing through the solenoid is greater, the total magnetic flux linked to the solenoid also greater. So pi is directly proportional to I, or pi is equal to L into 1, right? Where L is self-inductance of a coil, or coefficient of self-induction. Coefficient of self-induction. Self-induction is nothing but a property of a coil, whereas self-inductance is a measure of a coil. Measure of a coil. It is a measure, but it is a property of a coil. Self-inductance is also called coefficient of self-induction. Coefficient of self-induction. Right. So coefficient of self-induction is given by L is equal to pi divided by 8. Suppose a current of 2 ampere is flows through the coil, which produces the total magnetic flux of 100 Weber in it. Then what is the self-inductance of the coil? The self-inductance of the coil can be calculated by using this relation. So total magnetic flux linked to the coil due to the current is 100 and the current is 2. So 100 divided by 2, 50. Unit of self-inductance is Henry. The unit of self-inductance is Henry. Henry equivalent unit Weber ampere inverse, volt second ampere inverse, or ohm second. Henry equivalent units are Weber ampere inverse, volt second ampere inverse, or ohm second. Ohm second. Right. So self-inductance, one of the formula L is equal to pi divided by I. Right. And we know that according to Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, E is equal to minus d pi divided by dt. E is equal to minus d pi divided by dt. Negative sign indicates Lenz's law, and d pi divided by dt is nothing but the rate of change of magnetic flux. Right. And E is equal to minus d divided by dt of flux pi is equal to L into I. For a given solenoid, its self-inductance value is constant. Its self-inductance value is constant. So E is equal to minus L into di divided by dt. So whenever the current flowing through the coil changes, an EMF is induced in it. An EMF is induced in it. That property of the coil is known as self-induction. The measure, that is the magnitude of the opposing induced EMF produced in the coil, is depends on the value of self-inductance of the coil. The self-inductance of the coil is denoted by L. Right. Here the self-inductance of the coil is given by L is equal to, the negative sign indicates just Lenz's law. So L is equal to E divided by di by dt. Right. Okay. Suppose for example, an EMF of 12 volt is induced when the current in the coil changes at the rate of 40 ampere second inverse. An EMF of 12 volt is induced when the current in the coil changes at the rate of 40 ampere second inverse. What is the coefficient of self-induction of the coil, or what is the self-inductance of the coil? Suppose the question is asked like this. Then the coefficient of self-induction can be calculated by using this formula. Right? The magnitude of induced EMF is 12 volts and the rate of change of current, this is 40 ampere inverse, means rate of change of current, that is dA divided by dt value is 40 ampere second inverse. So 40, right? 3 4s are 12 and 10 4. So 3 divided by 10, 0.3. So self-inductance, one of the formula L equal to pi divided by A. Another formula L is equal to E divided by dA by dt, or L is equal to E divided by I2 minus I1 by t. T goes to numerator. If induced EMF value, time and final current, initial current, so these all four values are known, we can calculate what is the coefficient of self-induction of the coil. Right. Suppose the coil having n number of turns and area of the coil is A and the length of the coil, that is the solenoid, is L. Then the self-inductance of this solenoid is given by the formula L is equal to mu naught n square A divided by L. The self-inductance of a long solenoid is given by the formula L is equal to mu naught n square A divided by L. L, length of the solenoid, A, area of cross section of the solenoid, N, total number of turns in the solenoid, and mu naught, permeability of the free space, permeability of free space. The value of permeability of free space, 4 pi into 10 power minus 7 Henry per meter. The permeability of free space value is 4 pi into 10 power minus 7 Henry per meter. Right. And the self-inductance of the long solenoid in terms of number of turns per unit length is given by L is equal to mu naught small n square into A. L is equal to mu naught n square into A. If the given value is number of turns per unit length, then the self-inductance of the solenoid is given by L is equal to mu naught n square A into L. If the given value is total number of turns in the solenoid, then self-inductance is given by L equal to mu naught n square A divided by L. Right? Or you understand the difference between the capital N and the small n? Capital N, the total number of turns in the solenoid, and but N, small n, number of turns per unit length of the solenoid. Number of turns per unit length of the solenoid. So this is self-inductance formula. Right. Suppose if any one of the material is introduced inside the solenoid, the self-inductance of the solenoid is increases. Self-inductance of the solenoid is increases. Right. Suppose this is a solenoid. Right. Suppose iron rod or any one of the material is introduced inside the solenoid. Then the self-inductance of the solenoid, after introducing the material, is given by L prime is equal to mu n square A into L. Mu naught permeability of the free space. If the medium inside the solenoid is air, then self-inductance is given by L equal to mu naught n square A into L. If any one of the material introduced inside the solenoid, the self-inductance is given by L prime is equal to mu n square A into L. Right? Or L prime is equal to mu naught mu or n square A into L. Mu naught permeability of free space, mu or relative permeability of the medium. Relative permeability of the medium. Right? So this is self-inductance with the material medium, and this is self-inductance of the solenoid with the air medium. Right? And next, another energy stored in an inductor. Energy stored. Inductor. So inductor is nothing but either coil or solenoid. Inductor is nothing but a coil or solenoid, right? So whenever the current flowing through the inductor is changes, and EMF is induced in the coil. EMF is induced in the coil. Okay, so induced current produced in the coil. Induced current is produced in the coil. That induced current is always opposed the applying current. The induced current is always oppose the applying current. So in order to establish the applying current in the coil, work has to be done. That work done is stored as magnetic potential energy in the coil. Magnetic potential energy in the coil. So when current is passed through the coil, if the magnitude of current flowing through the coil is changes, and induced current is produced inside the coil or in the coil. This induced current oppose the applying current. So in order to establish the applying current in the coil, work has to be done. That work done is stored in the coil. The name of that work done is stored as potential energy in the coil. The name of the potential energy stored in the coil or inductor or solenoid is given by U is equal to of L into I square or I naught square. The magnetic potential energy stored in the coil or inductor or solenoid is given by U is equal to of L into I naught square. L self-inductance of the coil or inductor, and I naught the maximum current that flows through the coil. So energy stored in the coil or inductor is given by the formula U is equal to of L I naught square. The self-inductance of the long solenoid is L equal to mu naught N square A into L if the medium inside the coil is R. Otherwise, L prime equal to mu N square A into L, or L prime is equal to mu or N square A into L. Next, mutual induction. Mutual induction. Right. Self-induction is a property of a single coil, whereas mutual induction is a property of the two coil. Right. So whenever the current flowing through the first coil is changes, and EMF is induced in the neighboring coil or another coil or second coil. So that property of the two coils is known as mutual induction. So the phenomenon of producing induced EMF in one coil when the current flowing through the neighboring coil is changes. When the mutual induction means the phenomenon of producing induced EMF in one coil when the current flowing through the neighboring coil is changes. So that property of the two coil is known as mutual induction. Suppose let us consider two coil. So this is first coil or first solenoid. Suppose it is represented by S1. This is second solenoid, or CS2. Right. Now an electric current I1 is passed through the first solenoid. Right. When the electric current I1 is passed through the first solenoid, which produces a magnetic field inside it. The magnetic field produced inside the coils is given by B1 is equal to mu naught N1 into I1. B1 is equal to mu naught N1 into I1. Right. When the magnetic field is produced inside the coils, the magnetic flux is linked with each and every turns of the second solenoid. Because the second solenoid is closely wound with the first solenoid. So this magnetic field is not only linked with the first solenoid but also the second solenoid. So the total magnetic flux linked with the second solenoid is denoted by pi 2. This value is always directly proportional to the magnitude of a current flowing through the first solenoid. Pi 2, the total magnetic flux linked with the second solenoid due to this magnetic field produced by the current I1. Right. And this value is always directly proportional to I1. Right. Or pi 2 is equal to M into I1, where M mutual inductance between these two coils. Mutual inductance between two coils, or coefficient of mutual induction of the two coils. Right. Coefficient of mutual induction M is equal to pi 2 divided by I1. Pi 2, the total magnetic flux linked with the second coil or second solenoid, and I1, the current flowing through the first coil or first solenoid. Right. Already I told, mutual induction is nothing but the phenomenon of producing induced EMF in one coil when the current flowing through the neighboring coil changes. Right. So the induced EMF generally given by E is equal to minus d pi divided by dt. Right. Here, when the current I1 is flows through the first solenoid, the magnetic flux is produced in the second solenoid. The total magnetic flux is pi 2. So minus d pi 2 divided by dt. Due to the change in magnetic flux, an EMF is induced in the second solenoid. So it is represented by E2. So E2 is equal to minus d pi 2 divided by dt. Right. The EMF induced in the second solenoid E2 is equal to minus d divided by dt of, right, pi 2 is equal to m into I1. M into I1. Or E2 is equal to m. For a given two coils or pair of coils, their mutual inductance is constant. So minus m into di1 divided by dt. di1 divided by dt. So whenever the current flowing through the first coil is changes, an EMF is induced in the second coil. Right? When current flowing through the first coil changes, an EMF is induced in the second coil. So that properties of the two coils is known as mutual induction. Mutual induction. Right? So M mutual inductance. The mutual inductance, another formula, M is equal to minus E2 divided by di1 divided by dt. This is another formula. Here negative sign indicates the Lenz's law. Next, the mutual inductance between two long solenoid. The mutual inductance between two long solenoid. Mutual inductance between two long solenoid is given by mutual inductance between two long solenoids is given by the formula M is equal to mu naught N1 N2 A into A. Right. M mutual inductance between two long solenoids. Mu naught, okay, I mean permeability of free space. Permeability of free space because the medium inside the solenoids is air. And N1, number of turns per unit length of the first solenoid. Number of turns per unit length of the first solenoid. And N2, the number of turns per unit length of the second solenoid. And A, area of cross section of the solenoids. Area of cross section of the solenoid. And L, length of the solenoid. L is the length of the solenoid. So, if you know the number of turns per unit length of the first solenoid, second solenoid, area of cross section and the length, we can calculate what is the mutual inductance between these two coils. It is given by the relation M is equal to mu naught N1 N2 A into A. Right. In terms of total number of turns, mutual inductance is given by M is equal to mu naught N1 N2 A divided by A. Small n1, small n2 are number of turns per unit length of the first solenoid and the second solenoid. Capital N1 and capital N2 are the total number of turns in the first solenoid and the second solenoid. So this is mutual inductance formula. Right? If any one of the magnetic material is introduced inside the solenoids, then mutual inductance is given by M is equal to mu N1 N2 A divided by A, or mu naught mu R. Permeability of the medium is equal to product of relative permeability and relative permeability. So mu naught into mu R N1 N2 A divided by A. So this is expression for the mutual inductance between two long solenoid if a magnetic material of permeability mu is introduced inside it. Correct. So mutual inductance formula M equal to pi 2 divided by I1. Second formula M equal to minus E2 divided by di1 divided by dt. Mutual inductance between two long solenoids is given by M equal to mu naught N1 N2 A into L, or otherwise M is equal to mu naught N1 N2 A divided by EL. Mutual inductance for next. Methods of producing induced EMF. Methods of producing induced EMF. There are three methods is used to produce induced EMF. There are three methods of producing induced EMF. Okay, first one, by changing the magnetic field. By changing the magnetic field. Second, by changing changing area enclosed by the coil. By changing area enclosed by the coil. And third one, by changing orientation of the coil. By changing orientation of the coil with respect to the magnetic field. With respect to the magnetic field. Right, so there are three methods of producing induced EMF. First one, by changing the magnetic field. The magnetic field linked with the closed circuit changes, we can produce induced EMF. We can produce induced EMF. So this is one of the method for producing induced EMF. Second one, the area enclosed by the coil in the uniform magnetic field is changes. Okay, where we can produce induced EMF. Right. And third, if the orientation of the coil, orientation means the position of the coil. The position of the coil with respect to the magnetic field is changes, we can produce induced EMF. So there are three methods of producing induced EMF. By changing the magnetic field, by changing area enclosed by the coil, by changing orientation of the coil with respect to the magnetic field. Right. Induced EMF general formula E is equal to minus d pi divided by dt. And magnetic flux linked with the coil or closed circuit is given by the common formula pi is equal to NVA cos theta. NVA cos theta. Substitute pi value here, then induced EMF E is equal to minus d divided by dt of pi NVA cos theta. Right. Here number of turns, area per coil, and angle between the direction of a magnetic field and the outward normal or constant means, then E is equal to minus NA cos theta of dB divided by dt. Suppose angle between the direction of a magnetic field and the outward normal is 0 degree. Suppose theta equal to 0 degree. Then cos 0 1. Then induced EMF E is equal to minus NA into dB divided by dt. So one of the method of producing induced EMF is by changing the magnetic field. If the magnetic field is changes with respect to time, EMF is produced. The EMF, the magnitude of induced EMF can be calculated by using the formula. E is equal to minus NA into dB divided by dt, or minus NA into B2 minus B1 divided by t. Right. Using Lenz's law. Right. And second, the induced EMF can also be produced by changing the area enclosed by the coil. Already I told there is a rectangular coil or loop in the uniform magnetic field. Opposites with this L, and it is moving with the velocity of v in the uniform magnetic field of the uniform magnetic field B. Right. When the rectangular loop is moves inside the uniform magnetic field and EMF is produced in it. This is because when the rectangular loop is moving outward direction from the magnetic field, the area of the loop within the magnetic field is changes. The area of the rectangular loop within the magnetic field is changes. So due to the changing area, the number of magnetic field lines, that is the flux linked with the coil, is changes. So the flux linked with the coil changes means an EMF is induced. Right? The EMF induced in this rectangular coil is given by E is equal to BLV. So this is called motional EMF. Motional EMF. Right? So the EMF induced by changing area enclosed by the coil is given by the formula E is equal to BLV. So this EMF is called motional EMF. Motional EMF. Right? And third method, by changing the orientation of the coil with respect to the magnetic field. Right? Suppose there is a uniform magnetic field in which a rectangular coil is placed. So this is axis of the rectangular coil. Right? If the rectangular coil is made to rotate in the uniform magnetic field, the magnetic flux linked with the rectangular coil at every instant changes. Right? So due to the change in magnetic flux, an EMF is induced in the rectangular coil. The magnitude of EMF induced in the rectangular coil at every instant changes. At any instant, the magnitude of induced EMF produced in the rectangular coil is given by E is equal to EM into sin omega. Right. So here the magnitude of EMF induced in this rectangular loop remains constant when the area enclosed by the coil in the uniform magnetic field is changes. Here also, if the magnetic field, the rate of change of magnetic field changes is constant, means the magnitude of induced EMF produced in the rectangular coil value also constant. But in this case, if the rectangular coil is made to rotate in the uniform magnetic field, the amount of magnetic flux linked with the coil is changes. Okay, changes. Continuously. So the magnitude, that is why the magnitude of EMF induced in the rectangular coil also changes continuously. So at any instant, the magnitude of EMF induced in the rectangular coil is given by the formula E is equal to EM into sin omega t. Right. Here E, the magnitude of EMF induced in the rectangular coil at every instant. Right. E suffix m, the maximum value of EMF induced in the rectangular coil, maximum value of EMF or peak value of EMF. Peak EMF, or otherwise called amplitude. Maximum EMF or peak EMF or amplitude of EMF is denoted by E suffix m, and it is given by EM is equal to NBA into omega. NBA into omega. Right. N, the total number of turns in the rectangular coil. Total number of turns in the rectangular coil. And B, magnetic field or magnetic induction in which the rectangular coil is rotated. And A, area of the rectangular coil. Area of the rectangular coil. And omega, the angular velocity of the rectangular coil. Angular velocity, because the coil is rotated. So when the coil is rotated, it possesses both the linear velocity and also angular velocity. The angular velocity is denoted by omega. Right? N number of turns, B magnetic field or magnetic induction, A area of the rectangular loop, and omega angular velocity of the coil. So maximum EMF is given by NBA into omega. Instantaneous EMF is given by E is equal to EM into sin omega t or NBA omega into sin omega t. Right. So there is a sine function. So the magnitude of EMF induced in the rectangular coil changes the sinusoid. Changes sinusoid like this. If for time t equal to 0, EMF induced in the coil is 0. Okay, after certain time, the EMF induced in the rectangular coil is a maximum, and again 0, then negative maximum, again 0. So the EMF induced in the rectangular coil is a changes sinusoid. So that is why the instantaneous EMF induced in the rectangular coil when the orientation of the coil changes with respect to time is given by E is equal to EM sin omega t. EM is equal to NBA into omega. So therefore E is equal to NBA omega into sin omega t. So there are three methods of producing induced EMF by changing the magnetic field. The EMF induced by changing the magnetic field is given by the formula E is equal to minus NA into dV divided by dt. Second, the EMF induced by changing area enclosed by the coil. So in this case, the EMF formula is equal to PL. And third, by changing the orientation of the coil with respect to magnetic field, EMF is induced. That EMF is continuously changes with the time. So at any instant, EMF can be calculated by using this formula. E is equal to EM into sin omega t. Here EM, maximum value or peak value of EMF, and it is given by NBA into omega. So instantaneous EMF E is equal to NBA omega into sin omega t. Eddy current and AC generator. So these are completely theoretical region. So you prepare yourself. Right. Next we go for a transformer. Transformer is a static device. Transformer is an electrical device or a static device which is used to transform an electrical power from one circuit to another circuit. It is used to transfer electrical power from one circuit to another circuit, and also it is used to step up or step down AC voltage. Step up or step down AC voltage. That is, a transformer is used to increase the AC voltage or decreases the AC voltage. Right. So there are two types of a transformer: step up transformer and step down transformer. Step up transformer and step down transformer. Step up transformer is used to increase the AC voltage. Is used to increase the AC voltage. Right. Whereas step down transformer is used to decreases the AC voltage. How the step up transformer increases the AC voltage? By decreasing the current. Step up transformer increases the AC voltage by decreasing the current. Whereas the step down transformer decreases the AC voltage by increasing the current. So there are two types of transformer: step up transformer and step down transformer. Transformer is a static device or electrical device which is used to transfer the electrical energy from one circuit to another circuit, and also it is used to step up or step down AC voltage. Transformer works on only AC. Its working principle is electromagnetic induction and mutual induction. So these two are working principle of transformer, right? There is an important formula in transformer, that is a transformer ratio formula. Transformer ratio is denoted by K. Transformer ratio is also called a turns ratio. Transformer ratio or turns ratio. It is given by K is equal to Vs divided by Vp is equal to Ns divided by Np, which is equal to Ip divided by Is. Right. So this is a transformer, and this is primary coil, and this is a secondary coil. Right. The AC input voltage, the coil to which the AC input voltage applied is called the primary coil. Right. The primary coil is connected to an alternating source like this. Generally, alternating source is represented by the symbol like this. Source of AC is represented by this. Right. And alternating source is connected to one of the coil in the transformer. The coil is known as primary coil. Right. The coil across which output is taken is known as a secondary coil. Right. The coil to which the source of alternating EMF is applied is known as the primary coil. The coil across which output is taken is known as secondary coil. Right. Suppose the number of turns in the primary coil is N suffix T, and the number of turns in the secondary coil is N suffix S. Right. And the voltage in the primary coil is represented by Vp, and voltage in the secondary coil is represented by Vs. And the current flowing through the primary coil is represented by Ip, and current flowing through the secondary coil is Is. So relation between this all the physical quantity is K is equal to Vs divided by Vp, which is equal to Ns divided by Np, which is equal to Ip divided by Is. So this is transformer ratio or turns ratio condition. Right. And one more thing, Ns divided by Np is equal to Ip divided by Is, or Vs divided by Vp is equal to Ip divided by Is. This condition is only applicable for ideal transformer. What is ideal transformer? The transformer in which there is no power loss or energy loss means that the transformer is called ideal transformer. But no transformer is ideal, because practically some energy loss is always associated with the transformer. Right. So for ideal transformer alone, this condition should be applied. That is Vs divided by Vp is equal to Ip divided by Is. And second, Ns divided by Np is equal to Ip divided by Is. Right. By solving some problem from transformer, if the transformer is ideal means, then only you can apply Vs divided by Vp is equal to Ip divided by Is, Ns divided by Np is equal to Ip divided by Is. If non-ideal, we can use all the condition. Right. So transformer ratio or turns ratio is given by K is equal to Vs divided by Vp equal to Ns divided by Np is equal to Ip divided by Is. Vs secondary voltage, Vp primary voltage, Ns number of turns in the secondary coil, and Np number of turns in the primary coil, Ip primary current and Is secondary current. Right. And next formula, efficiency of the transformer. Efficiency of the transformer is denoted by the letter eta. Efficiency of the transformer is defined as ratio of output power to the input power. The ratio of output power to the input power is known as efficiency of a transformer. Right. Output power, generally power is equal to product of voltage into current. Power is equal to product of voltage into current. So this is output power. So output power output power is equal to product of output voltage, that is the secondary voltage, output current, that is the secondary current, divided by input power is equal to product of input voltage and input current. Input voltage, that is the primary voltage, and input current, primary current. Right. So efficiency eta equal to output power divided by input power, or Vs into Is divided by Vp into IT. Right, into 100%. So efficiency in percentage is represented by eta equal to VSIS divided by VPIP into 100%. In fraction value, eta is equal to VSIS divided by Vp into IP. Right, efficiency formula, and this is a transformer ratio or a turns ratio formula. Transformer. Right. Suppose an electric power is generated in the power station. After generating electric power from the power station, it is transmitted through the transmission line. Transmission line. So that is the electrical power line. Right. So electric power is transmitted through this power line. When the electric power is transmitted through this transmission line or a power line, there is a loss of power or loss of energy due to the Joule heating effect. Due to the Joule heating effect. So due to heat produced, some amount of energy is dissipated. The power loss associated with the transmission line is given by I square into R. The power loss associated with the transmission line is given by P. Power loss is equal to I square into R. I square into R. I, the magnitude of current flowing through the transmission line, and R, resistance of the transmission. Resistance of the transmission line. So electric power, after generating from the power station, it should be transmitted through the transmission line. When the power is transmitted through the transmission line, some power is dissipated in the form of heat energy. The power loss in the transmission line can be calculated by using the formula P is equal to I square R. Is equal to I square R.